All right, everyone can hear you. All right, so Twitch stream or a Twitch ad is over. We'll now go to.
Are you looking to become a Tier 1 operator in the gaming world? Elevate your games with Black Site Studio Terrain. Hello, Mr. Skoback. How you doing, sir? Apologies for the late stream, but we're doing our best here. This is true. It's been an unusual weekend here in yeah, sunny for the moment. The storm has not yet hit us. Let's go back to answer your question. However, the track has largely shifted. The storm has slowed down, and it has turned much more sharply to the north than we hoped, or than we expected. Actually, we always hoped it would turn north. Turns out that our hopes were largely fulfilled, and the storm is going to largely miss us. We are going to catch a good piece of his left flank, so to speak. However, it's not going to hit us until probably tomorrow mid morning. So we still have power, we still have internet, obviously, and as long as we have the power to maintain our sit rep schedule, we will do so. I cannot make further promises on that later on into next week, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as we feared earlier this past week. Um, yeah, it's definitely it's good news for us. It's not so good news for some of the people in the northern Bahamas. They're really getting they're really getting hammered right now. Um, yeah, a Category 5 hurricane. That's it's not even really a Category 5. They don't have they call it a Category 5 because they haven't invented a Category 6. That thing, according to NOAA, that thing has 185 mile an hour sustained winds. I've never even heard of that. I've heard of storms like that in the Pacific. Super typhoons, they call them. It's literally like a Category 6. It is a monster friggin' storm. Um, but I'm sorry, Jen, you were going to say something? Yeah. Yeah, it's again, it's not a Category 6 because there's no such thing. But if there was a Category 6, it would literally be a Category 6. It's every few, dozens of miles per hour. I think a Category 1 starts at, what is a Category 1 start at, like a 75 or something? It's like 75 to 110, and then it's like 110 to 120 is a Category 2, 120 to 135 is a Cat 3. Cat 5 starts at basically at like 150. And so if they had a Cat 6, it would start at like 170, 175. This thing's doing a buck 85 sustained. So it's, yeah, the northern Bahamas is really, as we speak, really getting clobbered. Okay, so we got some more people here. Hello, Chris from Walkabout Games. And oh man, Mac the Gog the Mog. I'm gonna get your name wrong again. I'm sorry, Mac. Is everything good with Dorian then? Not yet. Dorian is going to pass by us to the north. We are going to catch a nice, sizable piece of his left wing, but we're not going to get the worst of it. Right now, we are in a. Your aunt lives in our state. Walkabout Games. About where in our state does your aunt live? Walkabout Games. So we are under a tropical storm warning. No, sorry, tropical storm watch. We are right on the edge of a tropical storm watch. So we are not in tropical storm warning, hurricane watch, hurricane warning. We're in the lowest grade of watch, but we are very very close to a hurricane warning. So we have to be careful. However, it's not going to hit us until tomorrow morning. So we have power now, and we're going to maintain our sit rep schedule as best we can. Gainesville's going to get a lot of rain, Mac. We used to live in Gainesville. We used in Gainesville. Jen and I lived in Gainesville for about 4 years, back in the early '90s. Gainesville's going to get a lot of rain and some potential flooding. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, she's far enough away from the coast that she's not. So obviously, she's not going to get any storm surge or anything. Um, but the good news is, yeah, that's what I just said. Oh, warning, not watch. So we're in yellow, or we're in pink, not yellow. Oh, okay. I'm I'm looking at the same website you are. I don't think that's entirely accurate. I think we're on the very northern edge of the yellow part. But we are close enough to where we still have preparations made, and we are not just south of Fort Lauderdale. Okay, then okay. Walkabout Games. Um, no, Walkabout Games. The aunt lives in your state. Okay, yeah, your aunt's gonna be fine. Um, just south of Fort Lauderdale, and it actually sounds like she lives pretty close. We live just north of Fort Lauderdale, so we're close. We're right on the edge of what's going to be the really bad part. Um, like I said, it's gonna miss us, but it's gonna be a very close call. And hurricanes are huge things, obviously, so we're gonna get plenty. We are gonna get plenty, and we're ready. We have hurricane shutters built into our windows. I have pre-made wooden, almost like miniature pallet fencing that I'm going to strap up very closely. If it turns out that the storm doesn't quite go the way they expect it to, but anyway, we have enough time to think about that in the morning. It's not going to hit us until either early tomorrow morning or even mid morning. Right now, the storm is going very, very slow. But the further south you go from us, we're right on the border, Walkabout Game. So the further south you go from us, the better shape they're going to be in. So just south of Fort Lauderdale sounds like she lives maybe 20, maybe 30 miles south of us. Yeah, she's going to get a lot of wind. She's going to get a lot of rain. But the roof ended up in the pool. Yeah, was that Andrew by chance? Walkabout Games, 1992, or more recently? That was the last really big one to come through here. Although that one really kind of clipped Miami. Go ahead, John. Well, Wilma was what, like a two or a three by the time it hit us. Yeah, we're talking about fives and up. I mean, there's only been like two or three fives that hit Florida in the last. Well, Michael hit the Panhandle literally just last year, so they are getting more common as far as the really big ones. But there you go. Oh, you what? You don't want to mess with those winds. Yeah, those are those blow the category scale out of the water. So don't worry about that. Okay, everybody. So as hopefully we can see here on the screen, we are going to take a quick poke at a super fast Darkstar game. This is going to be a yeah post modern. This is going to be a really fast stream, guys. Maybe an hour, hour and a half tops. Because it is kind of late where we are, and we do have some things that we want to do before the storm gets to us in earnest. The worst part of it for us is going to be a loss of power. We're going to lose power probably sometime tomorrow morning, and we're going to be without it for Lord knows how long. Probably at least a couple of days, maybe longer. So really, it's preparing for the aftermath more than the actual event. And that's just making sure you have plenty of water, make sure you have gas, make sure you have cash, because the ATMs aren't going to work. It's going to be weird. Gunboat duel. Now, just a small number. Okay, so super fast, everybody. Darkstar. Some of us have seen this, some of us haven't. I know Skobek's been involved with this. Skobek was actually making some 3D ships for this for a little while earlier in the year. That's right. Yeah. He has been. He had a thread going over on tabletop over in the projects feature. Yeah, Andrew, 1992. I remember that. Oh, that's you. Because science teacher. Sorry. Oh, there it is. There it is. Just out of the army, went to the before. Oh yeah, 92. Yeah, August of 92. That was Andrew. So, everyone has like a moment or whatever in their lives, or I should say, every community has a moment. Like sometimes, everyone remembers where they were when JFK was shot. Everyone remembers where they were at 9/11. Everything tends to get sort of defined, pre or post 9/11. At least here in the states. Here in South Florida, maybe not so much anymore because it is kind of in the past. But for a while, everything was. So were you here before Andrew? Were you here after Andrew? Andrew was our little local, our own little miniature 9/11 for a while. Andrew, absolutely. There are some things that Andrew destroyed that have never come back. Homestead Air Force Base. They never bothered to rebuild it. And a bunch of other stuff. Wasn't like the zoo out there destroyed or some big bird sanctuary or something? Jen, do you remember? Yeah, so that's like literally 15, 16, 18 years later. 1992 to now is what? 20. Oh my god. Yeah, more than that. Shit. I know numbers. I can do math. Nope, that station's just there for decoration. Um, I still haven't brought stations back into the game. I do have the sheets for it. I just keep forgetting to do it. No big deal. Well, it's got a British flag on it, so it's on your side. So we've got. Here you go. But anyway, that thing is just there. Don't worry about it. You, you can't even crash into it. It can't even block line of sight. It's literally decoration. Okay, so here's our game for today. This is super fast, like I said, guys. We have a very small 186-point game, roughly. We have a British destroyer, Falklands class, British frigate, in Indomitable class. These are Jen's pretty advanced ships that she's been working on for quite some time. As far as yeah, there you go. As far as building up her firepower, her experience, things like that. Down here we have my two, or two of my Russian ships. Oops, there we go. A light cruiser. That's a Kutuzov class light cruiser, and a Sovnia class destroyer. So DD for destroyer, CL for light cruiser. These ships have a lot of bonuses because they're not exactly new. So for those who might not be familiar, Darkstar is a game where you can start off with a ship. As you win battles or even just survive battles, you'll eventually build up a certain degree of experience. Once you build up experience, you can buy upgrades, and those upgrades can increase the point cost of your ship, but you get cool bonuses. Like this particular ship has. What did I do here? What did I do with this guy here? I gave him three. One, two, three. One, two, three. Okay, I just want to make sure the math lines up. So this guy has upgraded shielding. These used to be fours, now they're fives. These used to be fours, now they're fives. This stern shield used to be a five, now it's a six. Basically, everything went up by one. He has gunnery accuracy, so he has the same bonus as your ship, John. And he's got enhanced thrust. He has a thrust of six, which is enhanced for a light cruiser. He's a cruiser with the speed of a destroyer. He's actually pretty nippy. Over here we have his escort ship, the smaller Soviet, or I should say Russian, destroyer. Again, gunnery accuracy, enhanced shielding, and also some instead of thrust, initiative bonus. Okay, then we have Gen's two ships, HMS Inflictor. This is a relative ship. This ship's been around. This ship's done a lot of work, and has built up quite a degree of bonuses. ECM shielding, electronic countermeasures and shielding, basically, more advanced defensive shields. Gunnery accuracy, gunnery impact, resolute crew that actually allows her to make some repair checks throughout the game, and enhanced thrust as well. So this ship obviously costs a lot of points. This ship actually has a dated engine plant, starts off cheaper at only 56 scenario points, aerospace cost, but then has 70 points worth of bonuses for 128 total. So this ship should be an old clunker ready for the scrap heap. However, this particular commander, Henry Blessed, is one of Jen's commanders, and he has been putting all kinds of blood, sweat, and tears into this ship, and has built her back up into one of the more feared ships in the Royal Navy lately. She is big, big daddy pimpin'. However, she is old as shit, so that's okay. We don't judge. Conversely, we have HMS Birmingham, which is a Falklands class destroyer. This is one of the most popular destroyers that we've had since we introduced Darkstar to the on tabletop community. Everybody wants to play one of these. Of course, everyone wants to play the British for some reason, but on top of that, they usually pick one of these Falklands class destroyers. Almost everybody has one of these. I should say almost everybody that plays the British has one of these. A little bit of glass cannons, but they are fast for a destroyer, obviously, and pretty advanced. The thing is that this ship is very new and doesn't have nearly as much enhanced abilities. In fact, if you have ECM shielding, I should increase these. I'm glad I noticed that before the game started. All right, guys. So we're gonna have a super fast game again. We can't stay on with you guys all night. We do have some rather pressing uh, things to do later on tonight, but we do have some time. Yeah, we are totally going to lose power. We are totally going to lose internet. However, we're not expecting that for at least 12 hours. But do want to get the house ready for when things go dark. We're not stumbling around in the dark, with no clue what's going on. We go through this every couple of years, guys, so it's all good. Once it became kind of clear that the eye wall was not going to come very close to us, it's okay. Now it's just a big pain in the ass. Um, so everything's fine. Hello, sir. 2590. What's going on, sir? Big Daddy Pippin, but holy shit. Yeah, that's Jen's old indomitable class light cruiser, the Inflictor. So, yeah, would you call me an aged man of war? That's pretty much her deal right there. That ship should be past her prime, but she's been lovingly cared for by her captain and her crew. Meanwhile, we've got the Russians, who actually straight out murdered a British fleet last big Darkstar game we had. Obviously, I had a lot more than just these two ships, but yeah, these two Russian ships have gotten something of a reputation of. Yeah, the British don't like these two guys very much, Lazarev and Shakira. They they have put a few dents in the Royal Navy as of late. In fact, on this very same table. But sounds like a plan. All right, so again, just to kind of get the game going super fast, guys, all I did was I just said, okay, turn one has already happened. Everybody fired, everybody missed. No big deal. And so our velocity is 9. We all rolled initiative, and our new velocity on turn 2 is 9. Because what normally happens is the people come in from opposite sides of the board. You launch scouts. You spend the first 20 minutes screwing around, firing off your forward guns, messing with everything. No big deal. But one thing I will do, however, before I get too out of whack, is I will say on turn 1 the Russians unleashed their first wave of torpedoes. So that is 10, 5 and 5, port bow, starboard bow from the destroyer, and 6 of the same, total of 16 torpedoes. I usually use green for the Russians. Oh, that's by no means any kind of a rule. Um, the Inflictor class, or I should say the Indomitable class, carries no torpedoes. No. Oops. Oh God, that was a joke. That's not supposed to be a real thing. Oh, whoa, not 60. Good grief, that's not a Chinese warship. All right, 6. 6 and 10. Okay, Russians, torpedoes off the rail. They are coming in. I think the Londonderry does have a few torpedoes, although they're not great. But in this game, well, she's a Falklands class. I think they carry two class 4s on each bow, port bow, starboard bow. I mean, they're not going to hit anything because that's the only torpedoes you've got. But all right, you never know. Okay, so that ends turn 0 and turn 1. Okay, so now we'll begin with turn 2 with initiative. So initiative is a d6 plus your oops, plus your thrust plus any come on, plus your thrust plus any, oh wait, make this turn 2, plus any initiative, plus your thrust, sorry, a d6 plus your initiative. Oh my god, I'll get this right yet, guys. Your is a d6 plus your thrust. So smaller ships have a better initiative than slower ships. Big slow ships are more ponderous than small quick ships. Plus any initiative bonuses you may have, or initiative penalties, like if your bridge has been hit. So for the Lazarev, just for an example, we have d6 plus 6 because his speed is increased. Oh, that was a 6. So 6 plus 6 plus no bonus makes it 12. Okay, and the Shakira has a 6 plus 6 plus 2 initiative bonus. And that is a, oops, sorry guys, that is a 4. And that is a 4 plus 8 becomes also a 12. Okay, Inflictor class, or Inflictor, what did you roll for initiative? 5, that gives you an 11. Because of your increased thrust, your speed is a 6, plus your 5 gives you an 11. Birmingham. Yep. Alright, cool. So it looks like the Birmingham has to go first. Well, I did roll a 6 for my slowest ship. Although he's not really my slowest ship. He's got a thrust of 6. Alright, so, yep, looks like, so right now your initial velocity is a 9 from quote-unquote last turn. Alright. I'll be right back, guys. Go ahead, Jen, and make your decisions. I'll be right back. Alright, folks, I'm back. The Londonderry. Alright. Yep. Okay, so if you're gonna slow them down three, do you want to move and then slow down your three, or what? Like that? Okay, that wasn't really the question. Do you apply your deceleration before you move or at the end of your movement? Before you move. Okay, so you just hit the brakes. You're now moving at six. Then you spend three more. I'm sorry. Then you spend two more points to turn because it costs two to turn at a velocity of six. Then you sink one toward the planet because you are within 10 hexes of a terrestrial astrophysical body, which puts you in that hex there. Okay? Now, that was the Birmingham who rolled a 10. Your new speed is a 6. Oops. Alright, next. Inflictor rolled a 12. Oh, Inflictor rolled an 11. Never mind. I'm sorry. Yeah, both your ships do have to move. Apologies. Gotcha. Which he can do with no problem because that only costs 5 thrust points, so a light cruiser can do that anyway, plus he has enhanced thrust. In either case, he's fine. I really wish OBS would stop doing that. Alright, the Russians, meanwhile, are moving at 9. So at 9, okay, guys, for those who might not be too familiar, in Darkstar, there's no such thing as a movement rate. You're in space. An object in motion will stay in motion, and so on and so forth. Everyone's been through 7th grade science class. So at 9, I can make 2 turns. No problem. I will do that. I'm going to try to use the gravity to my advantage. So Lazarov starts off here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then the gravity pulls him one more hex. That puts him right on the broadside there. Putting me... Now, the bad news is my forward gun... Oh, boy. I'm like voluntarily putting myself in her broadside. But I'm getting a shot into her starboard engines, or her port side engines. I might cripple a ship right off the bat. Both ships will do the same thing. And now both my ships are moving, or both your ships are all moving at 6. Both my ships are still moving at 9. Because I had no points left over after those 2 turns. Is there something wrong with our sound? Anybody? If anything, okay, you might not be able to hear me too well, but I'm pretty sure if anybody cuts out to the audience, it will be you because the OBS is coming off my laptop. In other words, the OBS is local to me. and you're talking. But anyway, it doesn't matter. As long as people can sort of tell what's going on. Guys in the chat, does anything sound screwy? Can you still hear us both, or is everything going? Is everything okay sound wise? While we wait for that, I will go ahead and I'll just go ahead and move my torpedoes first. My torpedoes are slower than yours, so torpedoes. Class threes move at 17. Oh, we got it. All right, cool. I just want to make sure that my torpedoes were close enough to do this. Because torpedoes do have a range and a speed, folks. They are not infinite. They're not like lasers. Okay, your torpedoes go even faster than mine, so you can go ahead and attack me from any way. Oh man, that's weird. Huh. No, Jen does not have. You can hear me fine. I assume Jen doesn't have a mic. All right, hold on. Hold on. That's the whole point of the thing here. No, there's no problem there. I'll turn you up a little bit. All right, Jen, you want to give us another sound test and see if you can? You have never heard Jen talk yet. What the hell? Just quick. You have an annoyingly loud voice. Can anyone hear Jen now? Keep going, Jen. What the hell? Hmm. Yeah, Jen is with me here on the stream. That's really messed up that you guys can't hear. Oh, hello. All right, guys. Sorry. Um, can you guys hear Jen now? Go ahead, Jen. Give it another try.
Hello, hello, hello.
That might have been my fault. Can you guys hear Jen now?
Is my dulcet voice broadcasting over the internet? Anyway, as I was saying about the torpedoes, just move
Yep.
them into the black back end of your destroyer.
Got it. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that was me. I had my desktop game set up on on a bad thing. I have it turned off all the way because I'm trying to avoid the fan that you guys can probably now hear over, a little bit too much. But no worries.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks very much. Skoback, Mac, and LSR. Okay, our movement was pretty quick. I'm just going to go ahead and throw my scouts in here because it's fun. In a battle like this, scouts aren't going to make that big of a difference, I don't think. Okay, Jen, are your scouts going after my torpedoes, or are they going to stay clear? Because your ships are within my mass driver range.
Uh-huh.
And I probably won't
I
need
was going to have...
all my mass drivers to shoot down those 4 puny torpedoes.
I'm going to keep my scouts out of the way for a little bit.
All right, that's pretty sound. The maximum range on scouts in this game, guys, is usually about 6 hexes. There are huge penalties to hit at that distance, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, once you're past 6, there's no way that any of my mass driver aerospace defense can. All right, Jen. Any of my aerospace mass driver defense can hit that can hit at that distance. Okay, so it looks like we've completed movement. Let's go ahead and start with the combat phase. And we're going to start with mass
Yay!
drivers. Like I said, guys, this game's going to be super fast. We got two players that play this game all the time. There's not going to be any real rules questions, and it's a super small fleet. Obviously, it's just two ships per side. Okay, so Jen, do you want to do yours first, or
Sure. If you want to tell everyone what's going on, just so they know.
we have some Darkstar veterans here. Elisar has his
Uh,
own fleet. He's been running his own campaign down there in Australia. Some of the Skobak's actually been making up his own ships in 3D printing. And he's spectated in plenty of games. Mac, I'm not sure about, but we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so just in case people might not be 100% familiar, the torpedoes I launched last turn are now going to try and hit her ships. However, before they do, she has what basically amounts to anti-aircraft guns. She's going to try and shoot down those torpedoes and see what happens. There's no electronic warfare bonuses on my side, so it's going to be a straight roll. Super easy. The Inflictor has 19 total mass driver points. He's taken no damage hit to sensors or his mass driver arrays, so it's just straight out 19. No penalties for shooting down torpedoes. Hello, get to the right page, dummy. Right page, dummy. So you go to this chart, you find the appropriate row. There are no modifiers, and you roll a d6. You roll as high as you can.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I have my copy of the chart.
The chart's right here, Jen. Just give me a d6.
Okay, D6 coming up. Come on.
That's
Nice
on
British red dice.
this roll right here. This roll right here.
Got a 4.
Four means 6 torpedoes shot down. So that was easy. There are these 6 torpedoes shot down. Boom. There's another ship there. The Londonderry also has a chance. Londonderry can help. Londonderry has 16. However, the
I
Londonderry
have 16 plus 1.
gets to add 1 to her roll for more advanced sensors. Again, these Falklands class destroyers are much more new, sleek, badass. These are the Type 42s of Darkstar.
A modified 4.
All right, let me get back to the chart. Now she is on a lower. She has a smaller ship, so she's rolling on a lower thing, a lower row. But she does have a bonus. So you roll a modified 4.
Yeah.
So that's 5 more torpedoes. So there's a grand total of only 5 left. All right. So the first ship shot down 6 right off the bat, and then the smaller ship shot down 5 out of these 10. Wow, that is super annoying. I do not know why OBS keeps doing that, guys. There's really nothing I can do about it that I know of. Okay, so we're just going to remember for now that there's 5 torpedoes coming in there. I'm going to go ahead and try to roll my torpedoes, or try to roll my mass drivers to shoot down those torpedoes. Let's start off with the destroyer, since the destroyer is the one being fired at. 15, no bonuses, because it's a Russian ship. No big bonuses or anything. Not terribly, man. Alright, that was a 5. No bonuses on the 15. That was 6 torpedoes. There's only 4 torpedoes there. That was quick. With such a small torpedo load on the British side, I don't really expect any British torpedoes to get in. But you never know. Okay, so now my 5 torpedoes that survived the mass driver attack are going to go ahead and try and hit her ship. Here's the problem. The Russian ships carry a lot of torpedoes, but they're not terribly good. They're only... actually, they came from this ship. They're only class 3s. There's class 1 through class 5. Class 5s are the best. They only hit on a 7 or down on a 7 down on a D10, minus your shields. What are your shields, Mr.
On the back end, they're a 6.
On the back end, they are a 5. On the destroyer.
No.
Yes.
Oh, you're going after the
Like I said,
Londonderry.
Yeah. They're going after a 5. So, 5 torpedoes made it through the anti-aircraft guns, or through the mass driver defense. So 5 made it. My chances are 7, minus her shields of 5, so my chances only a 2. They're not great. Again, the Russian torpedoes.
At least one should get through.
None of them got through. So everything rolls pretty much low in this game, low to hit. So I needed a 1 or a 2 on a D6. I'm sorry, on a D10. 1 D10 per torpedo. Didn't get any. No worries. So what few torpedoes got through the anti-aircraft guns kind of rebounded off the shields. So that's it for mass driver. Let's go to gunnery. Let's keep the stream going. I will now fire with Lazarev's forward guns. I can only fire forward guns because of the way our ships are oriented. I won't get into the super details at the moment, but the game has pretty specific arc rules for where the guns are and how they can pivot and what their arcs are. Guys that have tried this game are pretty familiar with it. But in this case, pretty much everything on Gen ships are going to be able to hit me. They're going to be able to hit me only on a pretty non-effective side of my ship, pretty much the bow, where all the armor and not terribly vital components are. The trade-off
Except the
is,
bridge.
well, good luck hitting that. The trade-off is only half my guns can hit, but they're going to hit right into her engines and her reactors. So it's like literally 6.5 in one hand, half dozen in the other. I went for half guns into a good spot. She's getting all guns, but into a pretty tame spot. So I can only fire. Whoa, Jen, what's going on over there? You all right?
Sorry, yeah, my mic got tangled.
All right.
I'm gonna mute it right now.
Cool. So while she's taking care of that, I'm going to go ahead and fire my guns. Cool. So I have two large 40 kilogram plasma projectors. Oh crap, what's the range? 1, 2, 3, 4 is the range. So at range of 4, my chance starts off at a 9. That's that box up there. Minus the shields on that destroyer, again 5. So my chance becomes a 4. I have the gunnery accuracy bonus that I paid extra points for, so that gives me +2 to all my rolls. So my 9 becomes an 11, minus 5 becomes a 6. However, I can only fire forward guns. So 9 is the base chance at this range, +2 for gunnery accuracy bonus, minus her shields of 5. Give me a aggregate chance to hit of, what was that, 11 minus 5 is 6. So I get to roll ones for each weapon. So two 40 kilogram plasma projectors.
I hate plasma.
Yeah, the Russians love plasma, especially up close. And boom, they both hit. That is let me zoom this out a little bit so you can see more of the
Space shotguns.
space flamethrowers. Okay, 3 and a 2. Those are both hits. Then I have 4 forward-mounted 12 teravolt EPCs. That stands for electron particle cannon. Again, chances of 6 to hit. And 2 of those hit and 2 of those missed. The 3 and the 2 are hits. You all right over there, Jen?
Yeah.
There's just a lot of noise coming from your mic.
Oh,
Right,
sorry. I'm gonna leave it muted.
All right. Oh, that was a 2, guys. A 3 and a 2 are a hit, and an 8 and a 10 are a miss. Oops. So both plasmas hit and both EPCs hit. Now we see where they hit. Each ship has a different size hull. I should say each type of ship. Frigates, destroyers, light cruisers, heavy cruisers, battleships, so on, have different sizes of hulls. And so you roll a different size dice to see where on the hull you hit. Destroyers are basically D4 ships, so I'm going to roll a D4 for each of those plasma hits. What is the location? The location is I'm firing from here. The target is here. My weapons fire is going to be entering her hex right along the boundary between these two other hex sides, which means I get to pick between these two arcs. I can pick between the port bow or the port quarter. I'm going to pick the port quarter because that's where all the red meat is.
Roll a 1 or a 2, a 1 or a 2, a 1 or a 2.
All right, 2 big. I'll take a 1 or a 2. Remember, these are plasma weapons. They'll splash onto your bridge. I'll take a 1 or 2.
So.
All right, what I
4,
don't.
4, 4.
Yeah, 4 would be bad because then half of it falls off the back of the ship. Okay, here we go with. Turn on Mr. Webcam. These are the 2 big plasma hits. These are pretty much my 2 biggest weapons in the game. A 1 and a 3. That's not too bad. You know what? I'm going to put the camera over here so we can. All right. So at this range, what do we say? We're at four hexes. So range band 3. They do 4 points of damage per hit. So plasma is like it's plasma. It's almost like a flamethrower. It paints damage. So that's the okay. Let me start over. It hits in the area that I rolled. Okay, so I'm going to resolve that one first. So it hits there, and then it does 4 levels of damage. But different kinds of weapons in this game have a different sort of impact shape. And plasma weapons are very shallow and very broad. Again, they kind of paint, they almost like airbrush damage onto the target. And the other one was, so that's the 4 points of damage that a plasma weapon does. It hits number one, it spreads out, and then a little bit of extra damage continues into the next row. The other one was a 3, so it does 3, or one box of number 3. Then it spreads out, again, one on each side, and then the fourth one in the original hit location. So that's the damage from the 2 plasma projectors. Then I hit with 2, EPCs. How big are the EPCs at this range? They are also 3. Oh, these are only 3, not 4. They're slightly smaller, but they do punch deeper. These are almost like lightning bolts that shoot into the ship. Alright, so these do 3 boxes of damage deep, but they go all in the same column. So I'm going to roll to see where these 2 hit. That is 1 and 4. That's actually kind of terrible. But alright, that's sensors get down, enlisted quarters, and the one hits at number 4. That is shields down. Port quarter shields have just failed. And port quarter mass drivers have been hit. But we'll deal with that when we get to the resolution phase later. Okay, that's it for my cruiser. Then I go to my destroyer. My destroyer has a lot less weapons because she's only a destroyer, obviously. Destroyers are smaller than cruisers, no matter what they say in Star Wars. Because Star Wars is wrong about so many things. Star Wars never advertised itself as a forum on naval theory. Okay, so 2 forward 7 gigawatt railguns. I'm going to try to hit again. My chance to hit is a 6, a 7, and a 10. They both missed. Yay for Jen. And one more gigantic 40 kilogram plasma projector. Come on, this is going to hit. That is a 2. That is definitely a hit. So I'm not shooting terribly well, but...
Not shooting terribly well. You destroyed all of the armor and shields on my quarter.
Well, on your smallest ship. Yeah. Okay, so let's see where it hit on that plasma projector. That's a 2. I'll take it. Alright, so again, the same class of plasma projector as the other weapon. Maneuvering thrusters, some damage to the port quarter weapons, which you don't have any anyway. 1 point there. And then 1 point splashes over into number 1. I'm now in the core. Alright, and that is it for my gunnery. It is your fire phase, Jen. You do have the 2 Russian ships broadsided.
Yep. Okay. Let's start with the Londonderry.
Londonderry is, LSR 2590. I was saying before that, these Falklands class destroyers are almost everybody's favorite, at least for the British. If you play British, you probably have at least one Falklands class destroyer in your fleet, and they're. I remember the Burke. I remember I can't remember what fleet were you fighting? You fighting the Japanese? I can't remember LSR. I destroyed your whole navy. All you had left was that one little Burke class, and the Burke class fought the rest of my Japanese armada to a draw all by itself. Something like that.
Johnson, what's the port bow shields on your destroyer?
5s.
Okay. So I'm at 4 to 6, which means I started a 9.
Yep.
The Londonderry doesn't have any bonuses in gunnery, so 9 minus 5 is 4s.
Get to the right ship. There's all kinds of stuff happening here, but that all gunfire is simultaneous, guys. So this none of this damage takes effect yet. As soon as we get to the resolution phase, some of this damage is going to affect her rolls and what weapon she can fire. But for now, none of that's happened yet. It's happening at the same time. She starts off with a 9 minus 5. Yeah, 4 is the chance to hit with. What weapons are you firing first?
I started with the lasers.
Okay.
Two of the four 8 megakelvin lasers
Yep.
hit.
Cool.
And let me roll my two cyclics.
All right.
And one of the cyclics hit.
All right. Synchronized gravitically lensed X-rays. Basically, an X-ray band laser is what that is. So the cyclic. Oof. That hit pretty hard. All right. Cool.
So at this, it's going to be
Cyclics hits it. It's 4.
4.
Yep. All right. So you're shooting at the destroyer first, and you're hitting her on her port bow.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. I just need to find a D4. There it is. Okay. Cyclets hits starting at a 2.
2. And it does 4, we said?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so cyclics emitters are basically a different kind of laser. They're a laser that shoots instead of invisible light in the X-ray spectrum. Hence the exahertz, 60 exahertz frequency is the range. The higher the frequency, the more damage it does in the game. At this range, a 60 exahertz cyclics emitter does 4 points of damage. No worries. So cyclics emitters, their shape, they always go too deep. They always go 2 boxes deep. And then it's just how far back aft it kind of zippers down across the ship's hull. Because it pretty much burns into the ship, and as the ship moves forward, the laser or the X-ray laser continues to kind of tear open a gash in the ship's hull. So it does 4, she does 2, and then the 2 more happen immediately after. That's 2 more points in number 3. Then you did two 2-point lasers with 8 mega, or I'm sorry, 2 2-point hits with 8 megakelvin lasers.
Yep. First laser hits in 4.
All right.
And the second laser hits in 3.
That is the complete for the destroyer's fire. SitRep podcast. That trip was canceled because of the hurricane. Is the reason that trip has been off is off the books. In fact, that trip has now been rescheduled for next weekend, which is why next weekend is actually going to be more of a problem than this weekend. All right, Jen, you have your your light cruiser at this time.
Yeah, this is what Blessed does best.
This I'm not looking forward
Blows
to.
stuff up. Henry Blessed is old school. He hits stuff with guns. He has 12 7-gigawatt railguns with accuracy and impact.
Wait, so where are all your lasers?
Blessed doesn't believe in those newfangled things called lasers.
Where are all your plasma projectors? Where are all your
If it
torpedoes?
doesn't have a bullet, he doesn't use it.
It's an old school battleship broadside. 4 triple turreted 7-gigawatt railguns just swiveled off the port broadside and are going to unload on. Oh man, these poor Russians. All right, which ship are you firing on?
Well, since I've yet to blow the destroyer out of the sky, we will focus on it.
That's not nice. All right,
so I'm going to roll 6
Okay.
guns at a time.
Cool.
To concentrate firepower.
Yes.
So, because he has the accuracy and impact, he starts at a 10, correct?
No, he starts at he's at range. Okay, hold on one second. SitRep podcast. Yeah, we were talking about this before. The storm hasn't hit yet. It doesn't hit till tomorrow morning. So we are all prepared, and the storm is largely going to. It's not going to miss us, but the bad part's going to miss us. We're going to catch some of the left side. So yeah, we're all right. We're just trying to keep up the schedule here. In fact, we're getting more texts here. Yeah, we're missing the worst part of it. We're gonna lose power probably tomorrow, but we're not in any kind of a danger. And even if it does get bad, we're ready. I've got the stuff to, we're all set. Don't worry about it. All right, so
That's right. That's my bad. We add the 2. That's right. I
yeah,
got confused. So starts with 9.
starts with
Minus
9.
5 makes 4.
Yep, goes up to 6, same as me.
Add the 2 gives me 6s.
Yep.
But my other bonus is he's at full strength
Yes.
of 4.
So roll the
Okay.
dice, and I'll go
Let's roll
ahead and
6 dice.
provide the commentary.
Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 successes out of 6.
Okay, so a couple things here, guys.
Let's see what that does.
Number one, this captain and this crew are very, very experienced. She has the gunnery accuracy bonus, just same as my 2 ships. Okay, so she gets a +2 to all her rolls. So her chance to hit here was a 6, same as mine was a second ago. So boom, she is allowed to declare part of her guns to fire and then part of her guns to fire later. So she doesn't waste damage, doesn't accidentally kill a ship or whatever. If she doesn't want to, you want to disable ships. You don't really want to kill ships. I mean, it's up to you how you play, but most players don't like to kill ships. It's much more fun to disable ships because number one, you can capture them, and number two, you don't piss off other players by killing their characters after they've built them up for a while. You get the same amount of points for disabling a ship as killing a ship. All that aside, plus how advanced our electronics going to be in the year 26, whatever the hell. It doesn't matter. The point is you're allowed to go with part of your guns, and then that didn't work. Okay, I'll throw in a few more. Okay, that didn't work. I'll throw those other guns someplace else. As long as all the fire arcs work and you're careful you don't fire the same guns twice and so on, it's all good. So she fired. We'll just say her forward guns. Her 6. She hit with 4 out of 6. Now she also has this one particular ship, the gunnery impact bonus. So whatever band she's shooting at for damage, damn it, whatever band she's shooting at for damage, she gets to consider herself one band closer. So rather than doing, she's right now in the 3rd range band. We're at 4 to 6 hexes, so that means you use the 3rd damage number right here. But because she has the gunnery impact bonus, she gets to use the 2nd number. She gets to be considered for damage purposes in the 2 to 3. So these guns are not only more accurate, but they hit harder. Is the takeaway on that. All right, so long story short, take a shot. You have to do, or you get to do, 4 hits, 4-point railgun hits.
Correct. Rolling now. First one is in 2.
All right, I'm making a quick template here. Give me 1 second. These are 4-pointers, 4-pointers, 4-pointers. Okay, there we go. All right, first one is in 2. Boom.
Correct.
All right. There's no need for the tone.
No, I'm trying to talk softly so I don't blow people's eardrums out.
I got the levels. Don't worry about that. All right, so you got that. What was your second hit after the 2?
3.
That hit the weapons magazine. That's not good. What's good for you? Okay.
4.
That hit there. All right, last one.
And then you got the 4?
They just did the 4, yeah.
And then the last one is in 4.
That kills the ship. Puts a 7-gigawatt railgun right through the bridge. Knocked out both boxes of the bridge. Once the bridge is destroyed, the ship is considered crippled. So with only half her guns, you instantly crippled the first Russian ship. Everybody saw that happen? That is a crippled Russian destroyer right off the bat. Now you get to fire your aft guns. So your aft guns have to fire at the other ship, which also has a 5 in shield. Same chance.
Same target. Yep. 6. Did not roll as good this time. Got 3 successes.
Cool.
Instead of 6.
Same damage, 4 points, but except now you roll D5s for hit locations. What we normally do, guys, is just roll a D10 divided by 2.
All right, I'll roll all 3 at once. One, that sucks.
All right.
3, and 4.
Splash damage always goes outboard, guys. I slightly screwed that up on the other ship, but it would not have made a difference. I was putting splash damage aft, which is not outboard on the port bow, but no worries. It would not have made a difference in game terms. Cool. All right, so that's the first
And we're all
three.
done.
That's the first three cannon hits, cannon shots. Damn it, OBS, stop doing that. First three cannon rounds on the hull of my cruiser. All right, that could have gone better. Let's do
Yeah, it
resolution.
could have.
Resolution. Nothing. Oh, I take that back. So the resolution phase, guys, is where you okay, all gunfire is taking place. Now you actually look at the sheets that you have for your warships and you assess the effects. What actually happened? So all these boxes actually do have, well, I should say all. Many of these boxes have some sort of game effect that can affect the ship's performance or even its ability to function. Period. So far, the only thing that Jen was been able to do on the hull of my light cruiser was knock out one of her. Well, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Knock out one of the sensor arrays. That's this SNSR, that sensor. So for every one of these sensor boxes that's hit, if it knocks out the entire sensor box, which the whole box is only one box, so yes, it knocked out the whole thing. I have to subtract one from my chance to hit. So that ship is partially blind. That ship is basically going to be firing with one eye swollen shut for the rest of the boxing match, so to speak. The Sakura, well, the Sakura is crippled. Once the ship is crippled with by some means, you don't have to worry about everything else. It's automatically crippled, so she's done. That's actually nice and quick. Inflictor has not been. Come on. Inflictor has not been shot at yet. Birmingham has many
But
problems.
the Londonderry, yes, is very hurt.
Oh yeah, why do I have? You know what? Let me change that real fast. Why do I have Londonderry on there? Or why do I have Birmingham on there? Okay. The Londonderry. Londonderry has all kinds of problems. Number one, sensor box. OBS, I swear to God. All right, negative. Sorry, -1 to hit. Extra maneuver costs. You took a hit to your maneuvering thrust. That's going to add 1 to the cost of all your turns for the rest of the game. You have 1 box of core damage hit. I think that's 20%. I'll check that in a second.
I'm also missing shields.
Oh yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. One thing at a time. All right. That's the okay. So all these boxes, you know, are have different effects. But once you get into these red boxes are what they call critical hits. These can cause the ship to lose power or explode. Reactors, engines, magazines, etc. Once you get into these gray boxes, they have additional effects. This is where most of the crew actually is in combat. So a lot of these weapons are remotely controlled, or they're controlled by, you know, different kinds of relays. When the ship goes into combat in Darkstar, the bridge actually retracts into the hull of the ship. There's none of this Star Destroyer bridge that sticks that way on top for an A-wing to crash into. Very cheesy. We don't have any of this big goofy saucer section you see in Star Trek, or any of these warp nacelles that can be blown off the ship so easily. Any of that craziness. The ship almost like it's like a turtle retracting into its shell. Once you're into the gray part of the ship, you're now into the shell. That's where most of the crew is actually fighting right now. So once you're into the gray areas, you're causing pretty massive crew casualties. Every box that's in there is a oh boy, did not mean to do that. Did not mean to do that. Go away. Please, can I have my game charts? Destroyer is, yeah, 20% per core box. So basically the ship's going to have to make a morale check is the long and short of it. What else is going on there? Alright, so maneuver port core weapons. That doesn't take effect yet because you haven't lost the whole component. Crew facilities, no worry, you basically blew up the pub. Port quarter mass drivers and shields. That's bad. So your port quarter shields just went down. Your port quarter shields for the rest of the game are 0. So any more firing there is going to have no penalties whatsoever. Basically, yeah, there's a huge hole in your shields now. I mean, you know this, John. I'm just explaining for people in the chat. And you've also taken one box off of your starboard, off of your port quarter mass drivers. So your mass drivers, every mass driver array you lose, you have 6 total on your ship, 1 on each facing: bow, port bow, starboard quarter, port quarter, stern. For every one of those you lose, you go down one of these boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Basically, this is your total number going down in approximated increments of 1/6 until you get nothing, which doesn't usually happen. But next time you suffer torpedo hits, you only get to roll on the 13 row instead of the 16 row. And you have to roll at a -1 penalty. Alright, so give me percentile dice to see if your crew likes the idea of being shot at by Russian plasma projectors.
Okay. 74.
Alright, so she's fine. The crew is rattled, but they're okay for now. That concludes turn 2. Before we even get into initiative, the Sekira is automatically going to lose initiative. So basically, when a ship gets crippled, it continues to move at a current facing and speed. It continues to drift. You have to be careful you don't hit any planets. You're still subject to gravity. There's all kinds of problems. But of course, you also lose initiative because no one's in control of your ship. So crippled ships move first. Is the takeaway there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She's still within 10 hexes of a terrestrial body, so she still sinks 1 hex closer to the planet. And she is still crippled, but she is technically still there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and roll initiative for my 1 ship that I have left. D6
I
plus
got 2 4s.
D6 plus 6. 5 becomes an 11. And Inflictor rolled a 4, which gives you a 10. I beat her. Londonderry got a 4 plus I beat her. So awesome. Both of those ships have to go first. You're both moving at 6. Take your turn. At your convenience. While I drink some tea.
I'm playing the British. I'm the one who's supposed to be drinking tea.
Alright. Does that mean you know what hex you're going to yet? I'm just playing around, guys. I'm just crabby because you already blew up already crippled my destroyer.
But now, let's see. Okay. Why don't we...
Ooh, I never fired my stupid scouts. 2 seconds, guys. This is not really going to make a difference, but just to keep the game straight. My 4 scouts are right there. They're going to go ahead and take their shot. They have a 1 to hit. No hits. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Just want to make sure I didn't miss that part of the turn.
Take both ships straight forward 2, then make 1 turn to the port and go down 4.
Yep.
And then, actually, that's 4. I thought that was, okay, then make it go down 3.
1, 2. Maybe I didn't do it right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, no.
Okay.
Hold on. Go back up to where I was. Go forward 3. And go down 2.
Alright, so you're going to decelerate by 1.
Yep.
And then that only costs you 2 thrust points. So she decelerated by 1, guys. That means her speed is now down to 5. At different speeds, your turns cost different amounts of thrust. So you have an X amount of thrust you have to spend per turn. This is how movement works in this game. Again, these ships have no movement rate. This is not a game where you just move so many boxes or so many inches or whatever. That's not how it works. It's space. You can go as fast as you want. There's no speed limit in space. You go as fast as you want, but the faster you're going, the less maneuverable you are because the more of your thrust it takes to turn, the longer it takes to slow down, etc., etc. This is the kind of universe where you decelerate to attack speed rather than accelerate to attack speed. So she was moving at 6. She spent her first thrust point to decelerate to 5. Now her turns only cost 1. Velocity 5 equals 1. She spends 1 thrust point to turn, make a 1 facing point change to port, and then she moves the rest of her movement. Any more turns, or are you cool there?
No, because I know you're going to move.
That
So
that
if I
ship.
turn anymore, I'm going to be facing the planet, which I don't want to do.
Any more turning or any more acceleration, deceleration for next turn?
No, I'm going to stay at a 5
Okay.
for the inflictor. However, the Londonderry
Alrighty. Go ahead.
is going to go ahead 4,
Never launched
go
torpedoes last
down
turn.
1, and flip.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go down 1 and roll. Here's a fun maneuver that people do in Darkstar, guys. You can do what's called a roll or an inversion. And it's basically if one side of your ship is really badly torn up, or if you've lost all the guns on one side of your ship, or all those torpedoes are empty, or whatever reason, your ship can pretty much just corkscrew in space. And without turning, presto, you're now presenting the different side of the ship. Novus Templar, welcome to the stream, sir. How you doing? Welcome to our pre-Dorian Hurricane Darkstar party.
We decided to do some hyper modern gaming.
Yeah, we're doing post-modern gaming here on the SitRep channel. I just got the feeling that people were sick of looking at Pendulator, so I just, you know what can we do that's super fast and kind of get this out of the way. All right, here's my problem. So now she's completed her movement. That Londonderry, that destroyer, is now flipped upside down. So her vulnerable part of the ship, that port quarter shield that I can't really get to, is now technically her starboard quarter. Basically, it's pointing this way. So it's going to be tougher for me to get to it. Well played. Well played.
I still think I should have moved it farther away now that I'm looking, but
Well, here's the problem. My issue at the moment is that I'm going too fast. My own speed is now working against me. I'm still moving at 9. 1 point of velocity in this game, guys, is 3 kilometers per second. These hexes are 180 kilometers. Each turn is a minute. So 180 kilometers in 1 minute, boom, that's 3 kilometers a second. I'm moving 9. So I'm doing 45 kilometers a second right now. That's 3 times the speed of Voyager 1. So I'm going to have to slow down. Oh, this isn't going to be too bad. I forgot the ship has extra thrust.
oh, so did I.
Okay, so I'm moving at 9. Slam the brakes. Full retro thrusters. Boom. We drop down from 9 to 5. That cost me 4 points. And now my thrust only, or my each facing change only costs me 1. Because of the ship's upgraded thrust, I have 2 thrust points left. I can make 2 facing changes at that speed.
Ooh, I'm going to lose that destroyer.
Yes, you are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second facing change. There. Ooh, actually, no.
Not quite.
1, 2, 3. I have to account for the planet's gravity. 4. Oh, you know what we didn't do? Account for the planet's gravity. 1, 2, 3.
Well, if you
4,
didn't do it
5,
for me,
6,
don't do it
7,
for you.
8, 9, 10. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We did it right. You are just outside the planet's game effective gravity well. Obviously, planets this size have gravity that extend for hundreds of thousands of kilometers into space. But for game purposes, on 180 kilometer hexes, it's 10 hexes. You're just outside of 10 hexes, so you're fine. One, two, three. Ooh. I might be slightly screwed here.
Well,
One,
that makes
two,
me happy.
three, four,
I don't see
five.
how.
One, because I'm about ready. I have to see if I'm going to get pulled back into the planet. One, two, three, four, five. Damn it. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. How is it I'm in gravity when you're not? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 10. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven.
The planet likes me.
So starting at 2220, or starting here 2221. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so if basically we're in the same hex. If I'm not in gravity, you're not in gravity.
Well, aren't you getting just a little close to my backside?
Londonderry, or you OBS. I hate you. I hate you so much.
Let's name OBS Dorian for today.
There you go. So it keeps throwing parts of the OBS whatchamacallit up on my screen, which is really getting annoying. You know what you never got to do? You never got to launch torpedoes. What was your arc? Your arc was you could fire two
I was broadsided.
torpedoes.
Oh,
Yeah.
but that doesn't work with my torpedoes.
Nope. You got two torpedoes. Where do you want to put them?
Not that they're going to even
Yeah.
last, but on your back end.
There you go. It's almost it's almost pointless, but whatever. At least now I can. At least now I have less guns to shoot your scouts if you want to do something with your scouts. Because those torpedoes are dangerous. They are coming in with a +1 CIC. And they are class
Actually, you
4s.
know what? Strike the back end. Put them in on the bow where I did damage before.
Are you doing your chicken wing attack right now? I can't tell.
I'm not saying.
You're in another room. I can't see what you're doing. Okay, how about your scouts? What are your scouts doing?
Hey, Elazar's laughing at me.
Oh, I'm sorry. What now? Don't worry, Jen. I'm laughing. Oh no. I don't know what Elisar's laughing at, but so far she's winning, Elisar. There's no reason to laugh at her. You can laugh at me if you want to laugh at somebody.
Well, no, you're about ready to take out my destroyer. Unless you're going to just go for it and try and take out the inflictor.
I'm going for it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I am broadsided across her engine.
I see you, baby.
That's right. Don't get us banned off Twitch. I know the next line of that song. Don't say it.
Okay, Elazar, I get it. All right, let's blow some bleep up.
Well, what are your scouts doing? Are they staying there or?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I didn't hear that before. They are in gunnery range, so are they going to back off or?
Oh, excuse me.
What are your scouts doing?
Back them off a little.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, they are now beyond 6 range. Cool. You're going to go shoot down life pods that are launching off of the Secura because you're a British war criminal. I know you are.
That would be the Russians that did that. My scouts will help guide them right over to that British station right there.
We don't fire mass drivers or scouts at escaping enemy life pods. Excuse you. We use plasma projectors for that. We cook them alive in their life pods like little boiled eggs. All right. This is going to get nasty. All right, who wants to go first? Go for it, Jen. Londonderry, broadside. Yeah, Londonderry's broadside. Well, actually, we have to do mass drivers first. Londonderry's mass drivers. Londonderry has a 13 and a +0 because your +1 is negated by your sensor damage. So you are on the 13 row now, and you have +0 to your roll.
A 5.
A 5 becomes 5. That's 5 torpedoes shut down. There's one left. For sake of the stream, we're just actually, you know what? Let's not do that. What is Mr. Inflictor doing?
Uh,
There's one
are
torpedo
there any
left.
are there any scouts?
Yes, there's 4 Russian scouts right there.
Okay. So the inflictor is going to split his mass drivers.
There you go. You're allowed to do that.
10 and 10.
You mean 10 and 9 because you only have 19?
Oh, I must have an old sheet. My sheet says 20. Okay, 10 and 9. We will do 9 against the torpedo.
All right, so you're on that row. Launch 1d6, no bonuses. Ooh,
And
wait. You are, oh, you're only 1 hex away. Go ahead. Sorry.
I rolled a 4.
4 is 2 torpedoes shot down. Boom. That leaves you with 10 mass driver points to shoot at the Russian scouts. Now here you are some distance away. 1,
Yep.
2. So you have to subtract 1 for range, subtract 1 for shooting at scouts. You're on the 10 row, and you have to subtract a net 2 from your roll for various
10 rows,
modifiers.
subtract 2.
Yep.
Net 3. I rolled a 5, take away 2, I end up with a 3.
All right, so that's 3 scouts shot down. There's 1 scout left. Oh no, the Russian scouts get gunned down. So that's that piece shot down, and this piece goes from an S2 to an S1. Basically, there was 2 pair of scouts, 2 and 2, and now there's just 1 left. All right, all the torpedoes are shot down. That's not nice. That 1 scout is going to get his shot. All right, so the scout gets a 6. Subtract the Londonderry shields. That is 0. This is kind of a long shot, guys. Scouts are basically the float planes or the seaplanes launched off the back of cruisers with a machine gun attack against enemy cruisers in World War II. Don't hold your breath that they're going to sink the cruiser or the destroyer with that machine gun, but you never know. 4, that is a hit. Now I have to see if I can do damage. I have to roll a 6 on this. 4, it does no appreciable damage in capital ship scale game terms. I just like machine gunned off some of the paint. Okay, that's it for that. Now we go to gunnery. Actually, Lazarev has to fire. Lazarev does have -1 off his shields. 19. I have to subtract 1 from my die roll. Gameplay charts. I have no scouts.
You could roll really badly.
I could roll. Now, even if I rolled really badly, you're dead. 5 becomes a 4 because of my sensor damage. I'm on the 19. 6 torpedoes shot down. There's only 2 there. But we are just going through the motions. We're making sure we're not skipping any steps. Strange things have happened.
We're also trying to suck more people into the cult of Darkstar.
We have plenty, but we are always accepting applications. Darkstar is a game that turns into a sickness, I tell you. You'll be in a 12-step program before you know it. Don't believe me? Ask LSR, ask Rasmus, ask Damon. They will tell you.
I want to get my corporate raiders up and running again. I want my little fast ships.
They are badass in the new system. They almost broke the game. We've only had corporates in 1 game live so far. It was not pretty. But I think I screwed up the scenario design. Okay, now we go down to gunnery. Here we go. Londonderry has Lazarev's bow broadsided at point blank range. So we'll start with that. Londonderry, you start off with an 11, you go to a 12 for your CIC, -1 for your sensor damage, you're back down to an 11, minus my forward shields, which is 5, you're at a 6 to hit.
This is the one really negative thing with losing it. My 2 ships can't fire at the same arc.
All part of my bloody strategy. Except
all right,
really.
Let's see. Let's do my 2 cyclics. And I roll a 3 and a 4.
Those are both hits.
Let's do my 4 lasers.
6s to hit on D10s.
I roll 4 successes.
All right, so let's do this.
2, 5, 6.
Let's do the 2 Zyglexes first. Well, technically it's up to you, but they're all beam weapons, so it doesn't really matter. So 2 Zyglexes.
We'll do the 2 Zyclics.
Cool. 5 levels of damage. Now, there is no aft because you're shooting right on the bow, so we go outboard. Go ahead and roll 2d5s for hit locations.
Alrighty. The dice say 10
That's a
and
5.
6.
I will. If there's ever a way to be hit by a heavy Zyklix emitter, that's how you do it. Because that's the first 2 points of damage. There's the second 2 points of damage. There's the fifth point of damage. And as you can see, these 3 points of damage kind of go right off the side of the ship. Whoop. All right, the second one was a unmodified 3.
Yes.
Okay, so that becomes a 2. 2, then there's 4.
No,
What was the question?
no, that's right.
Okay, and then the fifth one skips off of the outboard side of the ship. So that's the damage from the Zyklix emitters. Zyklix emitters don't do well against the end of the ship. They do well against the sides because they're punch and drag kind of weapons. Okay, then you said you had 4 hits with the lasers?
4 hits with the lasers, so basically 4 3-point laser hits.
Yep, that's correct. Because you're point blank range.
So we have an 8, which becomes a 4.
Yep.
An 8, which becomes a 4.
Okay.
A 6, which becomes a 3.
Yep.
And a 6, which becomes a 3.
That's not nice.
It didn't really do much.
Didn't knock it. Well, that's the point of the bow. These sheets are laid out in such a way, guys, where they actually make some military sense. Obviously, the bow is going to be the first part of the ship that's usually pointing towards the enemy, at least at approach speeds. So it's really hard to hit anything juicy from the front. It's really hard, and it's designed that way on purpose. The only shield you've taken down so far is the navigation shield. Basically, this is the shield that prevents me from hitting asteroids and micrometeoroids and shit like that at high speed. Basically, it's a navigation shield. It has no effect on gameplay. As opposed to the forward shields, that's your actual combat shields. Maneuvering thruster was missed. Sensors were missed. Forward hangars damaged. But again, until you knock out the whole thing, there's no effect.
All right, now let me look at Blessed again.
Hold
what
on.
He can do.
Enlisted quarters, there's no game effect. And again, battle weapons is going to be nice once she hits that third box and fills in that whole heavy 3-point component. Once that happens, I have to pick something off of this and knock it off. But we'll get to that when we get to that. All right, you wanted to look at the inflictor? There you go.
Yeah. No, I got the sheet. I need to look at the map.
Oh, sorry. Aft weapons only into my port bow, which is a little screwed up. That's the part that's already been hit, but I did not have any points left over for a roll.
All right, so aft weapons only, so that means 6, not 12. I'm pretty much at point blank, and I get to add 2 to my roll.
Yep.
Or take away 2, basically, yeah. And shields are 5s?
Yep.
So 6, 7, 8. I get 8s.
Hold on. Whoa. You were clattering the dice. I didn't hear you. Okay, so 11, 13. Yes, yeah, 8s. Sorry, go ahead.
5 hits.
Alrighty. Now, she can only fire her aft weapons, but she hit with... I wonder... Oh, that's the wrong ship. Sorry. Yeah, she only fire with these 2 stern turrets. Now, you're already point blank, so they stay at 4.
Yep. Alrighty, let's roll some damage. Alright, 1. That sucks.
Pretty much. There's the 1.
6 becomes a 3.
Next.
6 becomes a 3.
Oof. Just missed the magazine. Next.
8 becomes a 4.
You said you got 5 hits?
Yep.
Alright.
And
So annoying. No looking at the sheet and then telling me what you rolled. You have to tell me what you actually rolled, Jen. Nice try. Did you guys hear her try to plot that in her head? Come on. Play fair.
if I was plotting it, I would have said I rolled a 10, which I did not.
I'll take a 10 right now. What was your last hit,
I
Jen?
rolled
Come on.
I rolled a 5.
Alright, that is a 10. Oh, no. A 5 becomes a 3, right?
A 5 is a 3, yes.
Alright, cool. You know what I just realized? I still have the thing going all this time. Hold on, guys. Hopefully, you guys get a bigger version of the screen in a second.
I thought that was intentional.
It is at the beginning, but once the game gets going, I usually turn that off. That's okay. We're not gonna like post this or anything.
That
Cool.
was a totally pointless fire. Didn't do any damage at all.
Yeah, I pretty much got lucky on that one. You did a lot of damage, but you missed everything really
Vital.
well. You did knock out one thing about weapons. I did lose a turret. I did lose one weapon turret and port bow weapons. I did lose some mass drivers. Yeah, there's a lot of damage there, but it's nothing terribly serious. All right, now
See,
it's
this is how you can hit a lot and not do any damage
well, it depends on
if you
where.
don't hit in the
Yeah,
right spot. Yeah.
you're
All
about
right.
you're about to see the opposite of that because of where I'm
Yes, I
parked.
know.
I'm telling them, Jen. I'm telling them. There is a no gloating rule in Darkstar because this is a serious game and people get irate when you talk too much trash. Um,
Actually, I need to step away for just a second. I am going to trust you to tell me how badly you killed me.
no worries. You'll be missing one cruiser by the time you get back. Don't worry about it. All right.
Cruiser!
Yeah, cruiser. I'm parked on the. I broadside of the inflictor's fantail. What do you expect me to do? I'm Russian. Point blank weapons. All right, I'm gonna take out her whole fleet. Here it comes. All right,
But my
Jen.
fantail has shields of a 6.
Ooh, that's not good. Okay. She does have very good shielding on her. Well, we both do. So that's going to be a problem. All right, guys, let's get this over with. I have an 11, point blank. I have the gunnery accuracy bonus goes to a 13. Um, that's one of my bonuses here. And after that, get rid of these. That 13 subtracts 6 for her shielding gives me a 7 to hit. So I'm going to start off by firing all stern weapons to begin with. So, two 40-kilogram plasma projectors right into her stern. I have a, what do we say? 13 minus 6, I have a 7 to hit. 6 and a 9, I still managed to miss once. Okay, and then 4 12 teravolt EPCs. Oh my god. She got a little lucky. Alright, so that's one plasma hit and 2 EPC hits. I'm going to fire the other 2 plasmas in there as well. That is a 2 and a 3. Those were both hits. So now I'm up to 3 plasma hits, and we're going to see where that takes us. These plasma hits at this range are incredibly devastating. These, again, are basically space flamethrowers. So they do incredible damage close up, and then that damage falls off very quickly. Beware any ship, if you ever play Darkstar, guys, beware any ship with plasma projectors when they get super close. They are pretty pointless at long range, but at close range, they become absurdly dangerous.
Yeah.
Alright, so, 3 plasma
I'm
hits.
counting on the chat to keep him honest.
Oh no, wrong button. Alright, so 5, 3, and 4. That actually could have been better. That becomes a 3, that becomes a 2, that becomes another 2. This is going to be a little complicated. So basically, I rolled a 3 and a 4. That is two twos. So I'm going to start with that. That's the first two. That's 6 boxes of damage. That is another 6 boxes. That's the second big hit. Then the next one hits in Sector 3. Come on, come on. So Sector 3 does 2. Bing, bing. And then it splashes on either side. So that's 2 more right there. Bing, bing. And 2 more in number 4. And then, believe it or not, a lot of my EPCs missed. So right now we only have 2 EPC hits. That is another one in number 2 and another one in number 3. Those were actually...
So Jim got the opposite. He got amazing hit locations. I think Jim just won this game.
Well, I won this game before it started, but... No, I'm just kidding. Oh no! These, I won't lie, these Russians are on a bit of a roll lately. And then the last one goes outboard. Oh, jeez. Actually, these 2 EPC hits are kind of wasted because I'm not hitting any more engines or reactors. And the last one hits here. 1, 2, 3. It's exactly in the middle, so I'm going to roll odds or evens to see if that splash point goes to port or starboard. Odds to port. 8 is evens, it goes to starboard. So that is 1 more point in number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's only 50-50 crippled.
And then my Resolute crew, don't I get to heal some back?
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of those EPCs in there after all. I have 4 EPCs that I haven't hit yet. They hit on 7s or less. So
7s?
Yeah.
11 minus 6?
No, 13 minus 6.
Oh, he's got the +2.
Yeah. 13 minus 6 becomes 7. 3 of those hit, 1 missed. So 3 hits on D5s. Okay, that's 7 becomes, oops, sorry. That 7 becomes a 4. Now I'm a little happy. 1, 2, 3, and the last one goes outboard. That's the 7. Then 5 becomes a 3. That's kind of a waste. Oh, maybe not. 1, 2, 3. Hit the magazine. All right, odds are... let me do the number 4, which becomes a 2. 1, 2, 3. And that last one splashes outboard, hits one in the reactor. Now the splash from that hit in number 3, which we haven't resolved yet. Again, I have to roll for that. Splash odd or evens. Again, it goes to starboard. That's going to be down here. Okay. Now I am going... That's it for my gunnery. That's pretty much it. And that's what position does for you in Darkstar.
I think that's quite enough, thank you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. She's in danger of exploding, but then again, she's going to have her Resolute crew. So if we go to the resolution phase, Resolute crew will roll 3d6, and you're looking for 4 ups.
Five, 6, 1.
So the crew is going to instantly repair 2 boxes. You can repair any 2 boxes you want on the ship.
Well, it's not really going to make a difference at this point.
It keeps your ship from exploding.
No, what I mean is which critical boxes doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, but all right, I'll take 2 off the magazine.
No, take them out of the engines.
Okay.
Just to make your life difficult.
It kind of does. I appreciate that.
You already took them out of the magazine. Leave them.
No, I didn't. Yeah. Don't worry. There we go. So that actually had a serious effect in gameplay. Now the ship has how many total numbers of whatchamacallit boxes hit? 1 in reactor, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cruisers start on 10. So the 10 plus. Now you have to roll. I have to roll 0 plus to fucking to. Sorry, a 0 plus to cripple her. She's automatically crippled. But if this 0 becomes a negative number, there's a chance the ship will explode. So I'm going to go through that again super fast. Every type of ship, from gunboat to battleship, has a cripple number. This is the number on a D6 that you have to roll to cripple the ship once you score at least one box of damage of critical damage. So needless to say, bigger the ship, the harder it is to cripple. Light cruisers start on a 10 plus. For every obviously you can't roll 10 plus on a D6. However, for every box of critical damage you score on that ship, that's a box that's outlined in red, you get to subtract one from that number. I scored 12 critical hits. 12 minus 10, I now have to roll a negative 2 on a d6. Okay, well, number one, I'm automatically going to make the roll, so the ship's automatically crippled. But because that number is negative, there's a chance the ship will explode. Explosion, percent chance of explosion per crit box below 0 disable, 25. So a second ago she had a 50% chance of exploding. She was 2 in the hole. 12 minus 10 is negative 2 times 25. She had a 50% chance of detonating. Star Wars style, shockwave, everybody on the ship dead, her character eliminated, and that's, pretty much the end of that ship, that sheet, that crew, the whole 9 yards. However, with her Resolute Crew bonus that she did pay for, what she's able to do is she says, okay, I'm going to roll, and for different ships, you get different classes of ship, you get a different number of D6s. For a light cruiser, it's 3. You roll a D6 per, for light cruiser, gets to roll 3D6. She rolled it, she got 2 successes. She gets to repair in any resolution phase 2 boxes of her choice because she rolled 2. If she rolled 3, she would have gotten 3, and maybe the ship would even have survived being crippled. As it stands, she rolled 2, so now I've only done 10 boxes of critical damage. 10 minus 10 equals 0. That has 2 real game effects. Number 1, I cannot explode her because she's not negative. The number negative times 25%, well, the number is 0, negative. 10 minus 10 is 0. 0 times 25 is still 0. So she doesn't explode. However, I cannot fail a roll when my target number is 0 plus on a d6. So the ship is automatically crippled. If this was an actual canon game in the actual timeline, i.e. if it was part of a campaign, the captain would also have to make a survival check because the bridge has been hit. So who knows what would have happened there. Also, crew casualties are pretty high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 core boxes have been hit. Light cruiser, 15%. The ship, even if it did have power, has a 150% chance of fleeing the field.
Wrong, 75.
There you go. Divide that in half because she has the Resolute Crew. Even with all that damage, the crew might decide to stay and fight it out. It doesn't matter. They don't have power. But, yeah, that's the end of that round.
No, Novus Templar, this goes far beyond poofs.
This is called a poof. Oh, my God. Mr. Rasmus, welcome to the chat, sir. You're just in time to see my favorite Russian ships destroy some more British ships. All right, guys. I don't know, Jen, do you want to call it, or do you want to keep going?
Let me look at your cruiser for a second. Look at that. Not even a single point of gray damage to make them have to roll.
I have lost one. Let's see here. Let's be fair. I've already taken off that sensor damage. Port cargo, officers' quarters, port bow mass drivers, port bow weapons. That is mass drivers knocked down. So I've lost some mass drivers. Then I've lost bow weapons. So I've lost one of my bow EPC turrets. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry. What am I kidding? I'm not sorry. That's awesome. Yeah, Lazarus ready to go. Still has all her shields. Rasmus says don't let the Russians get close. I think that advice is a little late.
Yes, I lost initiative twice. I really didn't have much say in the matter.
Yeah.
Well, no, I want to play one more round.
Let's play one more round. This was going to be a short stream, but no worries. All right, Inflictor was moving at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sakura was moving at 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She's still on the table. Neither ship is within gravity well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inflictor is barely out of it still. Alright, so now let's go ahead and roll Mr. Initiative. I have a 6 plus 6.
The Londonderry.
Oh,
You rolled another 6 for initiative?
no, I rolled a 6 plus 6, which is a d6 plus 6. I rolled a 1. You need to look at You need to look at the screen. Well, you know what? There's possibly a delay. Maybe you didn't see it.
There is a lag.
All right. So I rolled a bad initiative roll for once. So that's going to be 7.
I rolled a 4 again, which normally isn't a bad initiative roll, but in this game it has been.
My initiative is now a 7. Okay. And your ship, let me get the Inflictor out of the way. Goodbye. Londonderry has. Oh, you're moving at 6 still, right? Damn it, machine. Alright, and your new initiative is now a 10 again. You've rolled like 10 all the time. Look at this.
I know. My speed is 5. Remember, I slowed down 1 last time.
Okay. Alright, so I have to move first. Do I have any maneuvering thruster damage or anything crazy like that? Maneuvering thruster, nope. Holy shit. She really has taken nothing that critical. Alright, so I'm still moving at 6. That's my turn. Ooh, I was moving at 5. Sorry. I'll accelerate to 1 and then do that. Which I can do. There we go. Alright, you're moving at 5.
So now, because of my maneuvering thruster at the speed of 5, it costs me 2 points a turn.
Yep.
Right?
That's correct. Rasmus, you are correct. 5 to 6 is usually the good engagement speed. Once you get close. It's a good maneuver speed. Engagement speed is usually 9 to 10. Well, depends. If you're playing battleships, then that's different. But corvettes and frigates can usually get away with higher maneuver speeds. But for most ships, destroyers, light cruisers, yeah, it's usually 5 to 6.
All right. Let me see. Can I get right on your nose?
You can get in the same X as me, yeah.
Well, then you can broadside me. I don't want that.
No, I can't. That's not how the same hex movement rules work. Because you won initiative.
If we're in the same hex?
That is correct. Because you won initiative.
Let's see. I would have to make 1 turn.
And accelerate by 2.
3. What does it cost to turn it? I don't know if I can turn it 7.
Yeah, you can. That's 7. It costs 2. Now it costs you 3 because you have damage to your maneuvering thrusters. So you accelerate
Okay.
by 2, then you make a 3-point turn. That's 5. You have
That's
6
fine. I
points.
have 6 thrust.
Yep.
Okay, then I will do that.
One, two, three, four, five, six, 7. Now, because you won initiative, you get to pick which of the 6 surrounding hexes you get to be in as far as determining arcs go. If that's probably the simplest way to describe the rule. Pretty much, yes, you're in that hex, but as far as what arc is hitting what arc, what the interrelationship between these two ships are, you get to say, okay, well, I'm in that hex, or I'm in that hex, or that hex, you know. But obviously,
If I
you're
pick,
in the same hex.
yes, if I pick the, yes, I'm doing the chicken wing. Port bow hex.
Chicken wing. Okay,
If I pick the port bow hex, can you broadside me?
I can now.
If I pick that one.
Yep.
But if I pick the bow hex, you can't.
Nope. But you have to hit my bow.
Oh no. I know.
And again, my bow's pretty badly beat up. You might
If I
hit
pick the
that.
port bow, it's pretty much mutually assured destruction.
I still have my shields. And you got a lot of crap to dig through before you hit my bridge.
That's what I was going to say. If I pick the port bow, I've got a shot at taking you out. Slim.
That's
If I pick the bow, I have a. Well.
No, you have to hit all 3 parts of the bridge. Taking out the magazine is not going to get it done.
I know.
You might drive them off.
You know what? No guts, no glory. Port bow.
All right. I was just going to say, stern was an option. But stern is the stern is cherry, but right there are all the engines. But
Well, hold on.
you have 3 bad choices.
Yeah. Virgin.
Also 6 shields.
Yeah. No. I'm going to go for the dumbest choice on the board. Port bow.
She's a British player, guys. Okay. Now, that means that you are technically, as far as arcs go, in that hex. You do have me broadsided. I have you broadsided. My weapons will be hitting you on your port quarter. You will be hitting me on my port bow.
Starboard. I'm flipped.
Oh, that's right. Uh, all right, guys, here it goes. So it's Victoria Cross time.
No,
All right.
it's a backhand across the head. What the flip were you thinking?
3 torpedoes because why not? Let's see, I have to hit your port. What is it? Your port quarter, which is really your starboard quarter. Not that it really matters. I'm losing my last scout. He's crazy. He's going for it. Do you even care what you do with your torpedoes?
Put them in, you're going to blow them out, right? There's no way for you not to.
I'm pretty sure.
Then don't worry about it.
I have a 16, no sensor. I do have some sensor damage. 16 minus 1. Turn. If I roll a 1, you never know.
Put them in to coincide where my gunnery fire is going to go.
I just did. 3 becomes a 2. Because I have my negative 1 sensor damage. I'm at the 16. That's 3 torpedoes shut down. There's only 2 there. It was worth a shot. Meanwhile, your torpedoes...
I'm turning off my mic because I have the hiccups.
Okay, meanwhile, your torpedoes... I'm sorry, your mass driver defense is a 13 plus 1 minus 1. 13, give me a d6 on the 13. Roll, please.
4.
4 becomes 4. There's only 3 torpedoes there. Yeah, no worries. Once I lost my destroyer, I wasn't going to land too many more torpedo hits. No worries. I'm pretty sure those are going to be the last torpedoes of the game. Cool. All right, broadside time. Let's get it done. Go for it.
I have fewer guns. I'll go first.
You are point blank. So your number begins at an 11, goes up to a 12, goes down to an 11 because of sensor damage. 11 minus my shield's a 5. You have a 6 to hit.
All right, let's do the 2 cyclics. Both hits, 6 and 1.
Okay.
And the 4 lasers. Target of 6. 2 hit, 2 miss.
Alright, 2 cyclics emitters, D5 for hit location.
Alrighty. I am not looking at the map. Let's see. A 10 and an 8.
Okay, here goes. Oops, sorry. Oh man, come on. DZ to. Okay, sorry. Alright, the 10 becomes a 5, so that's 2 points in number 5. And then it goes back, it does total of 5 points of damage. It always goes outboard. I'm sorry, it always goes aft for a cyclics emitter. That's the first one. Second one hit in number 4.
Yes.
Like I rolled the 4 or it became column 4?
No, I rolled an 8.
Okay, cool. So that's 1, 2. That's magazine hits. And then 2 more in this one. That's annoying. Port bow mass driver down. Shields damaged. And then, hey, some sensor damage. Alright. That's a damage so far. Next, your 2 3-point laser hits.
Wish my camera worked.
If your camera worked and you rolled 2 9s or 10s on 2d10s, that's absurdly improbable, but you never know.
I'm going to come in and do it in front of you, because if it happens, you'll never believe it.
Bring it in. All right, hold on, Scott. We're going to have a little bit of background noise for a second. She comes into the office. I'm going to turn on the webcam so she can roll in the box. So these 2 weapons that are about to hit do 3 points of damage apiece.
I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, I want to witness. No.
A 1 and a 5. All right, so that is a 1 goes here. That's 3 points. 1, 2, 3, and a 5 is number 3.
Totally
1,
useless.
2, 3. It pretty much saws the ship in half, but but you did 2 points of core damage. She might have to flee. Here's the crazy thing: if she flees and I cripple you, there's no one left on the board. It's technically a draw.
It's a tie.
Technically, it's a draw. The British just might have pulled off a draw on this. It depends on how unlucky I am on my roll. We'll see. All right. Jen, close that door, please.
Yep.
We're getting reverberation here. Okay. So I'm going to do my fire. I'm going to make this mercifully quick because this is just an execution at this point. Point blank fire into her port quarter, starboard quarter, because she's inverted. Starboard quarter. All right. So first, my scout's going to try and hit again for whatever good that is. That is a hit. Do I do any damage? Throwing dice over the floor. A 2. Nope. Didn't think so. Next, full broadside. First, the plasma projectors. 4 big ones. 4 6-point hits if they hit. My chance is an 11, 13, minus 1 for sensor damage becomes back down to a 12. Her shields of 5
5.
is a 7. Oops. Let me get all the dice in the thing there. That is 3 hits and 2 misses. Sorry, 3 hits and 1 miss. So it's 3 plasma hits. Now, I only get to fire 6 teravolt EPC, 6 12 teravolt EPCs because one of my turrets has been blown up. This ship has seen better days. But for now, she's going to fire her 6. Again, 7's to hit. Okay, so that's a miss, and the other 5 are hits. Oh man, this is gonna get grim. Let's do the 3 plasma hits first. That is a 1, a 4, and a 1. That's actually not too bad, because that means that something has probably skipped off. Sorry, Londonderry, please. Click on it 3 times. I'm now hitting on the starboard quarter, because again, she is inverted in space. So the first one hit in number 4. That is 2 points, and then the other 4 points. I'm sorry, then 3 points go that. 2 points go that way, and the other 2 fall off the side of the ship. All right, and then I score 2 in number 1. Centers on number 1 does 6 points of damage in rows of 3. Centers on number 1 does 6 points of damage on number 3. Boom! That's Russian plasma weapons. Beware of the Russians when they get close. All right. Or really anyone with plasma weapons. That's mostly the Rasmus can tell me here. It's going to be the Russians, the Chinese, and some of the older Japanese ships. All right, now 5 4-point hits with EPCs. I need one more D4. Come on, don't embarrass me. Okay, 4. These are 4-point.
Well, that's gone.
These are 4-point EPC hits. So they go 3 deep and then 1 point of splash damage. 1, 2, 3, splashes off the side. 1, 2, 3, splashes off the side. That takes care of those 2 4s. Then I got a 3, a 2, and a 1. Oh man, of course it's going to be a pain in the ass. Here's the crazy part. She might have survived this. 1, 2, 3. Splashes outboard. There's no more boxes to hit in number 4, so it goes right through the ship. Flies out the other side. That was the 3. Get rid of that. Then I hit 1 in number 2. Splat. And the splash damage goes into number 3. Again, splash damage always goes outboard. Okay, and then the last one hits here in number 1. And there's only 2 boxes left. The rest of it flies out the back end of the ship. And last bit of splash damage, again, goes outboard, i.e. to the further to the aft, and knocks that out. I only hit 2 boxes of critical. I have rarely seen a ship that badly damaged, especially in the aft section. And still technically possibly be still operational. All right, so let's get the that's it for gunfire, right? You don't have any more gunfire. I don't have any more gunfire.
No.
We're all set.
Hey.
Yep.
You fired. Oh no, you didn't fire your mass drivers. Yes, you did. You fired all of your mass drivers. I forgot about my scouts.
No, you're gonna get cheesy now. You didn't move your scouts before I made. Now you're violating the turn sequence.
I know.
All right.
Let's just figure out this cluster.
You wanna get crazy with the scouts just for
no.
fun? Right.
No.
Cool. All right. So yeah, let's just hurry and get this done and wrap up the stream here because we do have dinner to eat and then some other things to do before this storm arrives in earnest. Okay. I have taken 2 critical hit locations in the magazine. So that is 10 minus 2, which means you have to roll an 8 plus on a d6 to cripple me. You can't do that. However, it is to also, so that magazine It's not only in red, it's also in gray. So it's also core damage. So when that magazine blew up, it scared the crew and killed some people. We are going to check here.
The odds are incredibly low.
They're not incredibly low. They're 30%. So it's 15% for a light cruiser. It's 15%. Right there is where you look at it. So it's core damage percent per box. 15% light cruiser. 15% times 2 is 30%. You never know. Let me get two very different colored dice so there's no confusion. All right, blue is the tens, and purple is the ones. Percentile dice, 30%. 31.
No!
31.
Boo!
They were thinking about it. They're like, we lost our forward magazine, sir. My captain shot the first guy that tried to go for a life pod, and the rest of the crew fell in line.
Aww. That would have been cool.
You do not run away from my ship, damn you.
That would have been cool if your cruiser had to flee and my little destroyer actually survived.
That would technically be a British win. Now, one. Okay, let's do the steps in the right order. I've only hit 2 boxes of critical damage, believe it or not, on the destroyer. So destroyers start off on a 7, which means it's now down to a 5. I have a 5 plus to cripple that destroyer. 5. She's crippled. That is a Russian victory, everybody.
True.
Although a pretty sloppy one, because again, that Russian destroyer has seen. First of all, the destroyer is toast, and this that cruiser has seen better days. Look at that, and their crew almost broke. All right, guys, that is a super fast game of Darkstar. Thanks very much for coming out to our stream. We definitely.
Ooh,
What's the matter?
we just got the first band of wind come through.
Really? I didn't hear anything.
I can see the trees moving like crazy out back.
Really? They're not supposed to arrive till like 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh well. All right, guys, you heard that. Dorian has arrived, or is threatening to arrive pretty quickly here. So we're going to go ahead and log off the stream. Thanks very much, everybody, for... Oops, that's the wrong...
Thank you
So, scene, transition...
for witnessing my resounding defeat.
It wasn't resounding. It was... Well, it was a 70-point victory. It doesn't matter. Yes, that's how it goes. I mean, whatever.
Thanks for the safe wishes, everybody. I don't think, honestly, as far as riskiness, we're in that much danger. It's more going to be inconvenience, loss of power, loss of internet, loss of air conditioning. Heaven help us.
This is going to be a huge pain in the ass, but we're not in any kind of actual physical peril or anything like that. Not at all. Don't worry about it. All right, guys. So we'll be in touch as soon as we can. As far as different sit rep content going out, I'm not entirely sure when and if Op Center 11 is going to go up on tabletop. I don't know why it's not there now. To be perfectly honest, it is up on YouTube. I don't know about Podbean, so if you can find it on YouTube, sit rep YouTube, check it out. There's one part to go left in our Vietnam series, and then we close out the Vietnam series for Op Center. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to stream next week because the trip I had originally planned for my family for this week, which is now canceled by the storm, is going to be rescheduled for next week if both me and my dad have power. My dad lives a little bit further north in Florida. He's actually in a little more, he's going to feel a little bit more impact than we do. So he might not have power, so who knows. But we'll be in touch. We'll let you know, we'll let everybody know what's going on. So, cool. Novus Templar, thanks very much. Glad that you were good, huh? Novus Templar? No, I'm just kidding. I know what you meant. Thanks very much, LSR. Thanks very much, Rasmus, everyone for coming out. SitRep Podcast, you were with us for a while. Who else do we have? We had Mac. We had LSR. We had Walkabout Games. Thanks, everybody who was here. Everybody, thanks very much. Super appreciate it. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take off. Wish us luck one more time with the storm, and we will be in touch as soon as we can be when we come out the other side of this thing. All right, everyone, take it easy, and I'll see you all soon.
Are you looking to become a Tier 1 operator in the gaming world? Elevate your games with Black Site Studio Terrain.